Hey there, and welcome to today's recap and review of The Boy Next World, Season 1, Episode 1. Buckle up, because this episode dives straight into a whirlwind of fantasy, dreams, and a touch of romance that'll have you hooked from the very first scene. Episode Recap. The episode opens on a rainy day, and we immediately meet our first character, Cirrus. He's struggling on the ground, having just fallen, but somehow manages to pull himself together and head toward the bus stop. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Fukin, who's waving goodbye to his friend before getting into his car and speeding off. As Cirrus looks up, trying to make sense of the situation, he's hit by another car. That's right, it's a dramatic beginning. Cirrus is rushed to the hospital, and we learn that his world is about to get a lot stranger. In the dorm room, Fukin's good luck charm falls to the floor, setting the tone for some strange, fateful events. Fukin wakes up from a dream where he's cuddling with someone, but it's not just any dream. He wakes up in a frenzy, unable to remember the dream or figure out why he feels so off. And to make things worse, he realizes he's late for class and can't find his lucky undies. His friend Jean is quick to predict that Fukin has just 15 minutes to make it to class before their teacher announces a pop quiz. And, surprise, surprise, he's right. His friends are all shocked, but Fukin just plays it cool, saying that the teacher already mentioned the quiz. It's a funny little moment that sets up Fukin as someone who might have a good sense of luck, or maybe just a little bit of intuition. As Fukin races through campus, he overhears some news that Cirrus, a well-known senior, is in a coma after a car accident. Cirrus was apparently fighting off car thieves when he got hurt, and he's now in the hospital. Meanwhile, Cirrus is in his hospital bed, dreaming of a sweet moment with Fukin. His best friends, Vim and Rome, are at his bedside, worried. Rome wonders if Cirrus isn't waking up because he doesn't want to live anymore. It's a heavy moment, but there's more to come. During a break, Fukin is sulking about his unlucky streak when his friends start arguing. Nalin, trying to cheer him up, suggests that maybe his angel is sick today, and they joke about sending up a prayer. Fukin, annoyed by the whole situation, makes a quick prayer to his angel, but something seems different about it this time. That night, Fukin comes home soaking wet and frustrated with the mess he left in his dorm. But this time, he offers up a more heartfelt prayer, asking for help with his angel. Meanwhile, Cirrus, still recovering in bed, dreams about being with his boyfriend, Fukin, claiming he couldn't go on without him. Suddenly, Fukin is startled by a knock at his door. When he opens it, he's met with a drenched, bandaged Cirrus, who wraps him in a hug. But Fukin seems completely confused. He only knows Cirrus in a very casual way, and Cirrus is now claiming that they're a couple in a parallel universe. Fukin, understandably, doesn't buy it. Cirrus tries to explain, but Fukin isn't convinced. After a brief phone call, Cirrus gets up to leave, leaving Fukin to ponder what just happened. Meanwhile, Cirrus is alone in his dorm, surrounded by memories of Fukin, unsure of what's real and what isn't. The next day, Fukin starts the day with his lucky underwear, hoping for a fresh start. But things keep getting stranger. Cirrus surprises him by leaving his favorite breakfast at his door and giving him his preferred drink when they cross paths on campus. Cirrus even texts Fukin a little later, confirming that he's out there, trying to win him over. At the business department, Vim confronts Cirrus for skipping out on his doctor's appointment, still claiming that Fukin is his boyfriend. Vim insists that Cirrus needs to take care of himself and return to the hospital, but Rome supports Cirrus in his decision to start fresh and win Fukin over, this time, from the beginning. Cirrus seems determined, and we know there's a lot more to come. Fukin is still processing everything Cirrus said to him. Jean, ever the voice of reason, suggests that maybe Fukin just didn't notice how connected they really are. Maybe this strange twist of fate is a good thing. And before we know it, Fukin keeps running into Cirrus everywhere. Cirrus tells Fukin to take his time, but he's clear about one thing. He intends to make Fukin his boyfriend. We get a flashback to Cirrus, waking up in the hospital and realizing that Fukin isn't there. Panic sets in, and Cirrus rushes out into the rain, determined to find him. He lands at Fukin's doorstep, but Fukin is still unsure of what to believe. Episode Review. So, let's talk about this episode. From the very beginning, The Boy Next World throws us into a whirlwind of emotions and fantasy elements. Cirrus is clearly determined to win Fukin over, even though Fukin has no idea what's happening. The episode leaves us with so many questions. What is this parallel universe that Cirrus is talking about? Why is Fukin so confused by all of this? And what role do the mysterious angels play in their connection? There's a lot to love about this show right off the bat. The writing is clever, and it sets up an intriguing plot that's full of mystery and emotion. Both main characters, Cirrus and Fukin, are likable in their own ways. Cirrus, with his determination, is easy to root for, while Fukin, with his mix of confusion and curiosity, makes us want to know more about his story. The supporting characters, like Jean and Vim, add a nice touch of humor and insight, rounding out the group in a way that makes the whole dynamic feel real. One thing that stood out to me was the emotional stakes. Cirrus' dream of being with Fukin, the worry from his friends, and the tension in Fukin's life all come together to create a sense of urgency. This isn't just a light-hearted romance. It's a story about destiny, connection, and the bonds that tie us together, even if we don't fully understand them at first. But of course, it's not all about the heavy stuff. There are plenty of moments of humor and lightness, like Fukin's obsession with his lucky undies or the playful interactions with his friends. It helps keep the tone balanced, making this show feel like a roller coaster ride of emotions. As for the question of parallel universes, are we ready to believe in them? This show definitely gives us a reason to keep watching and see where it goes. The idea of alternate worlds is fascinating, and the way it's tied into the characters' relationships makes it even more compelling.